Welcome to this week's edition of Mountain Outhouse. I'm your host, Jamil Curry. This is the craziest to happen in running this week. This week's stories include the CROPTOPWAR, coverage of the Wasatch 100, and a tribute to an ultra legend. Things have heated up in the 2016 CROPTOPWAR. Photos have been cropping up everywhere in the trail running scene, and we are fairly close to a tipping point in the mainstream fashion world. An article in BuzzFeed this week, titled, "Dudes Are Wearing Crop Tops Again, and Honestly That's Dope," has helped fuel numerous bathroom selfies now flooding Instagram. Several of these dudes were spotted at the Airviper running Javelina Jangover night run this past weekend, placing amongst some of the top spots in the race. That's so dope, bro. The originator of the CROPTOPWAR, Sally MCRAE, has gone silent over the past week as she traveled to China to run an inaugural 70K race in the Gobi Desert. Stay tuned next week for thoughts from Sally. The Wasatch 100 took place this past weekend under mild weather conditions. The big talk this year amongst crew was new restrictions imposed upon the Lambs Canyon aid station. Previously one of the most active aid stations for crews, new restrictions by the Department of Transportation eliminated this as a crewed spot just 1 week out from the race. This brings us to our first ever Rant of the Week. The Wasatch 100 is one of the oldest and most revered hundreds in the country. But the future of this race is in question as the Department of Transportation cracks down on the issues at Lambs. To address this, the race committee had to enforce a no crew rule. Defiant crews and pacers this weekend were found to be parking near Lambs anyways, some directly along the old frontage road, and others sneaking a parking space across the underpass.
All right, we're just leaving the Lambs Canyon aid station, mile 45.
Crews, do us all a favor.
Please listen to the race rules and don't jeopardize this classic ultramarathon.
Now, with a report from the Wasatch 100 itself, is our correspondent, Jam Jam.
Yes, I am here. I am truly, really here. And just behind me is the start line of the Run Rabbit Run 100 mile here in beautiful Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Typically on a day like this, you would see a staging area, flags, banners, runners milling around getting ready for their race. It appears that this event is truly low-key and old school. Stay tuned here and hopefully we'll see some action in just a couple minutes.
Jam Jam, you know the Wasatch 100 was this past weekend, and the Run Rabbit Run doesn't start until this Friday, right?
I'm sorry?
Sad and unfortunate. Our inspiration of the week goes to Renson Amradura, who finished his first 50K ultramarathon this weekend in the Cardimax Ultra in the Philippines. Incredibly, Renson only has one leg, so he utilized a crutch to complete the race in just over 10 hours. This week's kudos of the week goes to MEGHAN HICKS of IRUNFAR, who completed the NOLAN'S 14 this weekend. She did indeed run far. She becomes only the third woman to ever complete the line, and first to go trailhead to trailhead in under the arbitrary 60-hour cutoff time. She finished the mostly off-trail 100-mile route, summiting 14 different 14,000-foot peaks in a combined time of 59 hours, 36 minutes. Megan, I hope to see you at Barkley next year. Let's get a bit of a celebration going for Megan, y'all. Shabano, Tabachi, Antero, Princeton, Yale, Columbia, Harvard, Oxford. Shifting gears, we have a tribute story this week, as sadly a legend in our sport passed away after quite possibly the most touching swan song we've ever seen. Stu Gleeman was a physicist who worked on the NASA space program, a longtime ultra runner, and the founder of the ancient Oaks 100 in Florida. Despite a long battle with cancer, Stu was regularly at ultras, including the Barkley Marathons, where I first met him 2 years ago. His excitement for that race was evident in his smile and enthusiasm. He entered this year's A Race for the Ages, which features many of our sport's top runners from upwards of the last 5 decades, all running together. Stu impressively covered 110 miles at the race, caught up with friends, and shortly after passed away back home. Rest in peace, friend.